Victor awakens in a decaying world where nothing makes sense, buildings crumble, reality bends, and his own memories have vanished. But this isn't just his nightmare. It's a collective realm shared by everyone trapped in comas, where their memories blend together and deadly creatures called Reapers hunt the living. Escape means facing the truth about how he got here. As Victor attempts to understand his bizarre surroundings, he notices that his room contains a small model of this strange world. When he looks up at his ceiling, its color begins to shift and change before his eyes. The confusion deepens as he ventures outside his apartment, discovering that the entire world appears hollow and distorted, with every building, object, and location seeming upside down and backwards. This disorienting exploration comes to an abrupt halt when a menacing black creature appears before him. Just as the entity prepares to attack, three strangers intervene with an impressive display of supernatural abilities, successfully driving off the threat and saving Victor's life. However, their relief is short-lived as the creature quickly regenerates and resumes its relentless pursuit. In a desperate act of heroism, one of Victor's rescuers produces an explosive device and confronts the creature directly. Despite his companion's protests, he detonates the bomb, sacrificing himself to destroy the threat and allow the others to escape. The remaining survivors, Victor, a woman named Fly, and a man called Phantom, flee through the chaos toward safety. During their escape, Fly explains the fundamental nature of their reality. They exist within a collective manifestation of memories from everyone who has fallen into comas. This shared virtual world operates under different temporal rules than the real world, and every structure, road, or building they encounter originates from someone's memories. Most importantly, she warns Victor about the Reapers, former humans who have been transformed into malevolent entities that hunt and consume other inhabitants. The trio makes their way to a mysterious bus that serves as a portal between different areas of this memory-based world. On one side, they can observe people who are currently in comas, while the other side leads to an empty field. This bus has been the primary means of transportation and protection for the inhabitants, helping them evade the constant threat of Reapers. Fly leads Victor to a hidden base accessible through gaps in the memory landscape. She explains that she and Phantom were specifically sent to retrieve Victor by their leader, Yan. As they navigate through the base, Fly demonstrates her unique healing abilities, while Phantom showcases his extraordinary physical strength. She reveals that many inhabitants possess supernatural powers that correlate with their real-world experiences and capabilities. The base serves as a sanctuary for coma victims, featuring rooms adorned with manifestations from the dreams of previous occupants. Fly warns Victor against entering these dreamlike spaces, explaining that people who venture into dreams risk becoming lost forever and never returning to the coma world. The distinction between the coma realm and the dream world is crucial. While both involve unconscious minds, they operate as separate dimensions with different rules and dangers. Victor settles into his assigned room, where he begins experiencing vivid dreams that reveal fragments of his past. These dreams show him glimpses of a car accident and imagery resembling a cult operating within a hospital building. As the dreams progress, their manifestations begin materializing in his physical room, blurring the line between memory and reality. His exploration of these memories is interrupted when Phantom storms into his room, apologizing for his earlier behavior but also issuing a stern warning. Phantom claims that Fly is his girlfriend and demands that Victor stay away from her. When Victor disputes this claim, Phantom becomes enraged and drags him outside to meet the other inhabitants of the base. Victor is introduced to several residents with unique abilities essential for maintaining the base's security. Spirit possesses the power to sense approaching Reapers, while the astronomer excels at creating maps and understanding the geography of their realm. There's also a pilot capable of locating newcomers to the dimension, and various others with combat, construction, and survival skills. Determined to discover Victor's hidden abilities, Phantom subjects him to a series of increasingly dangerous tests. Despite Victor's earnest efforts and the expectations of onlookers, he fails to demonstrate any supernatural powers. Frustrated and disappointed, Phantom assigns Victor to the building committee headed by Cable, a group designated for individuals without special abilities. Cable offers Victor some perspective during their work duties, suggesting that lacking unique powers might actually be fortunate. People without special abilities avoid the dangerous missions outside the base that often result in death. During one of these conversations, Yan himself appears and explains the complex relationship between their virtual existence and the real world. Yan reveals that despite their extraordinary abilities in the coma realm, they were all ordinary people in reality. He also warns Victor about the different temporal dynamics within their dimension, where time moves differently than in the physical world. This explanation helps Victor understand why his memories remain fragmented and why adaptation to their reality proves so challenging. When Yan assigns Victor to join Phantom on a supply mission, the team travels through their memory portal system to reach a submarine from Cable's memories. The astronomer explains that Victor's dreams are actually narrations of real-life events, while Phantom warns against exploring dreams due to the Reaper attraction they create. The submarine mission quickly turns dangerous when guards challenge their presence. Although Spirit helps them navigate past initial obstacles, Phantom's impulsiveness triggers a violent gunfight. During the chaos, they successfully extract a crucial missile while learning that Reapers are approaching their location. When Phantom orders an immediate evacuation that would abandon 2 team members still working to complete the mission, Victor refuses to leave them behind. In this critical moment, Victor's suppressed abilities finally activate. Using his real-world background as an architect, he constructs a bridge with his mind, allowing everyone to escape safely. This demonstration reveals that Victor's power lies in his ability to create and manipulate structures through mental concentration and architectural knowledge. Back at the base, Yan learns about Victor's newly manifested abilities and immediately develops a grand strategy. He proposes that Victor construct a secure island completely inaccessible to Reapers, since the creatures can only attack structures created from memories, not original imaginative constructions. Victor reluctantly agrees to this massive undertaking, and Yan responds by removing Phantom from leadership and appointing the astronomer as the new team leader. As Victor practices developing his unstable abilities, his relationship with Fly deepens through their shared training sessions and exploration of his memory room. However, Phantom observes their growing intimacy from a distance, consumed by jealousy and anger. Despite his temptation to intervene, he restrains himself and retreats to his own quarters. The next day, as the team prepares for the journey to the island construction site, Phantom secretly steals a Reaper attracting device in a plan for revenge against Victor. The group sets out under the guidance of the astronomer and Yan, but Spirit soon detects Reapers nearby, puzzling everyone about how the creatures located them so quickly. When Phantom suggests splitting up and Victor scouts ahead alone, he faces a devastating Reaper attack. Although another team member intervenes to rescue Victor, the situation escalates when Phantom reveals his sabotage by attacking Victor and exposing the Reaper attracting device he had planted. The mission turns catastrophic when Phantom begins transforming into a Reaper due to injuries sustained from his earlier encounter with one of the creatures. Recognizing the dire situation and the immediate threat Phantom poses, Yan shoots him, confirming his transformation. This triggers a massive Reaper assault that results in a massacre, forcing Victor to flee with Fly, Spirit, and the astronomer. During their escape, Victor is jolted by a brilliant blue light that snaps him back to consciousness in the real world. He awakens in a hospital bed and begins piecing together fragmented memories, gradually realizing he was hired by a cult leader to construct a city. The truth about his situation becomes increasingly clear as his real-world memories return. In the days leading up to Victor's involuntary journey into the Coma realm, his life had taken an unexpected turn. Despite his innovative architectural designs, he faced continuous rejections from various companies who found his concepts too advanced and impractical to build. During this struggling period, he received an invitation to meet with a potential client, accompanied by his ex-girlfriend Fly. During their meeting, Victor and Fly discovered they had walked into a trap orchestrated by Yan's followers. The meeting location was surrounded by crowds of people who seemed willing to die for their leader's commands, revealing the true nature of Yan's operation as a dangerous cult. Yan, who was actually a doctor, believed that people could live more fulfilling lives in coma states where their minds became highly creative and unrestricted. According to Yan's philosophy, the coma world offered unlimited possibilities. People could eat anything, wear anything, build anything, go anywhere, and do whatever they desired. To make this virtual paradise even better, he specifically needed an architect with an unconventional mind, and Victor's unique designs made him the perfect candidate for creating structures that would be impossible in reality. When Victor refused to participate in Yan's scheme, he and Fly attempted to escape. However, their desperate bid for freedom led to a car accident that played directly into Yan's hands, allowing his followers to capture both of them and place them in medically induced comas. Victor awakens to find Yan standing beside his hospital bed in the real world, menacingly threatening him with an ultimatum. Yan explains that if Victor attempts to leave, both he and Fly, who remains trapped in the coma's virtual world, will be killed by Reapers. Victor represents their only hope for survival, as his architectural powers are the only thing capable of protecting them from the creatures. Cornered and left with no choice, Victor strikes a deal with Yan. He agrees to build the protective island in exchange for everyone's freedom once the construction is completed. Yan consents to these terms and even provides assurance of an escape route, a backdoor that Victor can use to leave the coma world permanently. However, this time Victor returns to the coma equipped with enhanced drugs designed to amplify his abilities. Victor re-enters the virtual world with his memories intact, retaining knowledge of his real name, location, and situation. He immediately begins working on the massive construction project, using his architectural expertise to design and build an entire futuristic city that serves as a safe haven from Reapers. However, once Victor completes the island as agreed, Yan reveals his true intentions in a shocking betrayal. The cult leader explains that releasing the coma victims would undermine his entire operation, as they would return to the real world and convince others not to join his cult. To maintain his artificial paradise, Yan decides that everyone must die. In the real world, Yan's followers begin disconnecting the oxygen supply to all the patients in the laboratory. As their brains begin dying from oxygen deprivation, the inhabitants of the Coma world start disintegrating into ash, one by one disappearing as their physical bodies fail. Remembering the backdoor theory Yan had mentioned, Victor hypothesizes that the only escape route lies through the dream portals he had been warned against entering. In a desperate race against time, Victor, Fly, and the astronomer rush back to the base while skillfully evading the Reapers that swarm their location. They successfully locate Victor's dream portal, but the dream environment presents new challenges. Unlike the memory-based Coma world, dreams operate according to interpretations and imagination rather than concrete memories, making navigation unpredictable and dangerous. As they press deeper into the dream realm, they encounter Yan waiting for them in a final confrontation. A physical battle ensues, but Victor proves too weak to match Yan's assault. Just as Yan attempts to strangle Victor to death, he is unexpectedly stabbed from behind by a Reaper. In a surprising twist, the Reaper is revealed to be Phantom, who had retained enough of his humanity to save Victor despite his transformation. Phantom explains that during his conversion to a Reaper, he discovered the connection between the virtual and real worlds. Although Reapers cannot normally think independently, they can create fear in humans, and he used this ability to eliminate threats while keeping his final promise to help. Victor approaches a set of Egyptian statues within the dream realm and becomes engulfed in the same brilliant light that had previously brought him back to consciousness. Upon turning around, he witnesses Fly beginning to turn to ash as her real body dies from oxygen deprivation. Victor immediately snaps awake in the real world and desperately attempts to resuscitate Fly using CPR and medical intervention. His efforts prove successful, and together they slowly make their way out of the cult facility. They encounter opposition from one of Yan's remaining followers, but the individual hesitates and eventually allows their departure, likely recognizing that their leader is now dead and the operation has collapsed. After spending several months recovering from their ordeal and staying away from the cult facility, Victor finally manages to secure stable employment. His experience has changed his approach to architecture, leading him to focus on creating practical, buildable structures rather than the impossible designs that had initially attracted Yan's attention. Fly suggests they celebrate his new job by going out for dinner, and as she leaves to change clothes, Victor retrieves a letter from the cult that had arrived in their mail. He briefly examines the correspondence before tucking it away in a drawer and locking it permanently, symbolically closing that chapter of their lives. However, the ending reveals that Yan's cult continues to operate and grow, with new members still being recruited through the promise of an ideal virtual existence. The film concludes with the suggestion that other architects and creative individuals remain targets for similar manipulation, indicating that the threat posed by such organizations persists beyond Victor and Fly's personal escape. The story serves as both a thrilling science fiction adventure and a cautionary tale about the dangers of escapism taken to its extreme. Victor's journey through the Coma world represents the struggle between accepting reality's limitations and pursuing impossible dreams, ultimately suggesting that true fulfillment comes from creating meaningful change within the constraints of the real world rather than fleeing to artificial alternatives. Victor's architectural abilities, which initially made him a target for exploitation, ultimately become the key to his salvation and that of his fellow victims. The film explores themes of creativity, consciousness, memory, and the fundamental question of what makes life worth living, virtual perfection or authentic human experience with all its imperfections and limitations.